Hello there, and welcome to.
Are you still at that convention? Sorry,
Hi,
Leonard.
Jesse.
Continue. I didn't know it live.
I'll do my introduction now. How's that? The good news
Thank you.
is, the great news is that with the audio version, I can just cut this out. So we'll start from scratch. But this is the uncut version here on Google Plus Hangouts. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Right. Welcome to An Englishman in San Diego with myself, Leonard Sultana. It is the 16th of November, 2013. We are talking 233 days to San Diego Comic-Con next July, which is when we will all be gathering for our own personal Nerdvana. My name is Leonard Sultana. You can find me on Twitter at EnglishmanSDCC. We would love for you to get in contact with us here on the Hangout, but of course you can also talk to our guests who are joining us as well. We've got two this week. We have ourselves our regular good friend Alyssa from Friends of CCI. .com/forum. Hello, Alyssa. How are you?
I'm fine. Cannot figure out how to get my bottom logo on. It seems to have dumped all of my memory.
Oh, don't worry about it.
Working on that.
We'll work on that. We'll be fine. And everyone knows who you are anyway, because you're like one of those living legends when it comes to Comic-Con. You are. So, okay, that's enough. Listen, that's as good as
Thank you. Move on.
That's as good as my flirting gets, I'm afraid. And I will demonstrate that right now by flirting with the resident hunk of this particular hangout this evening. Hello, Mr. Jesse Lynn. How are you, sir?
I'm good. How are you, Leonard? Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's a pleasure as always. Your presence is always it just enriches this hangout. No, I can't flirt. I cannot flirt. It's as simple as that. It's terrible. Oh God. Okay, I'll just give up and say thank you very much indeed for joining us, Jesse. Thank you indeed. This is coming to you. This is not, as you can probably tell if you are watching on YouTube or on any of the social medias. This is not coming from my usual location. This is a little bit more. That is not a kind of picture or poster that I would get in my bedroom. That is a very, very, very large painting of the Duke of Wellington. Why? Because this is the Wellington Suite at the Royal Armouries in Leeds. This is a museum which has been hosting this weekend the Thought Bubble Sequential Arts Festival, which is it is possibly the last big proper comic arts conventions that take place here in the UK. Certainly to the back end of the year. We do have a couple more conventions coming up. We've got MCM Expo next weekend, which is where I will possibly be hosting the Hangout from. But that is more of a pop culture con. It's very much taking in all the gamut of television and film and all the other noise outside of comics. Thought Bubble is all about comics. It's all about having some great artists and fantastic creators coming together and meeting with fans. We'll very quickly run through one or two bits and pieces which has been discussed on the forum, and that's where we go to Alyssa. What's been discussed on CCI.com or friendsofcci.com this week?
Primarily, we're still going through rehashing of the badge sale. I think the biggest thing that's occurred this week has been one member whose badge was bought for. They weren't present during the sale. They neglected to take their name off, so they weren't trying to be deceptive, but they have been hard to get a hold of, and another member bought a badge for them. So we're trying to walk through the refund process.
Sure. I think that's...
Yeah. It turns out that CCI has changed their form this year and has asked for an additional bit of information, which is the person who's being refunded, their phone number. We had not collected that information, so the buyer is having a hard time getting a refund processed through CCI. we've just got to get the details worked out. I'm confident that that it will go through. However, it's for anybody who is running a group, you now need to collect the buyer's phone number to safeguard the buyee.
Right.
That's the big bit of information, and that is being reflected in all of our groups going forward.
That kind of makes sense. I'd like to see how that's going to work when it comes to the open line, the open registration next year, because at that point it's going to get so close to the event when it comes to refunds. I think that'll be an interesting point to just to kind of get to get the right information back to CCI. I think that's going to be interesting. Okay, that's cool. Anything else that's come off the back of the badge sale at all?
Reworking the communication thing. I think, as Martin mentioned last week, having the group leaders be able to communicate with their people down below is tricky, and to my mind, it really has reinforced the need for the group leaders to have their badges bought for them, so they don't have to worry about themselves while trying to take care of all of the 25 other people.
Sure. If the badge sale that happened a fortnight ago, it was just one of those kind of test drives for the future badge sales. So it needed to be, certainly for those who were organising badge sales, it was a case of trying to work out how the best way to proceed and to help as many people as possible. I think to get people their badges when they have made all that effort, I think that makes sense. That makes absolutely. We've got ourselves. Let me just check, because I'm hoping that we may even get one or two interruptions. The great thing about this particular con is the amount of talent that's been in the building. We've had highlights and headliners such as Scott Snyder, Jock. We've had Becky Cloonan, Babs Tarr. We've had ourselves Jeff Lemire. We've had, who else have we had? Kieran Gillen and Jamie McKelvey, who also attended a event on yesterday evening, on Saturday, at the downstairs in the Berry Theatre, which was where they. Oh, sorry.
Hold up all your swag.
Oh no, I'm going to get round to that. I'm going to get round to it. I'm segueing neatly into it because yes, one of the big pieces of the British Comic Awards was held last night. It was an event where the committee had done a shortlist of something like 200 books, and a special guest panelist group, including Jonathan Ross and Danny John Jules, which is Kat from Red Dwarf, and a number of Jonathan Entwistle, director. A number of people had gotten involved to whittle all of these books down to win the 4 categories: best book, best comic, new innovator, and also Young People's Comic Award, which I think is a very important award. But certainly one of the more popular winners was Kieran Gillen and Jamie McKelvey for The Wicked and Divine. Now this is the Volume 1, which I'm holding up at the moment. This is combining the first 5 issues, and this is the now award-winning book. It's certainly something that I would recommend. It's an impressive piece of work, talking about godhood as celebrity. The storyline is that a number of young people are the reincarnated version of a number of gods, including Lucifer and Anke. So you've got the whole gamut of the Egyptian gods and all sorts of classical gods reincarnated as young people, and naturally they become pop stars and celebrities. However, they only live for 2 years, and there's a killer amongst one of them. It's a hell of a book. It's certainly worth recommending. When we spoke to Kieran on the Hangout, he just finished book 1. He was just about to start work on book 2. They have no idea how it was going to get received. It's excellent. And I managed to get a signature as well, because I bought him a glass of wine at the party last night, so he said thank you for the glass of wine. Got to get Jamie McKelvey's signature on it, but that's beside the point. So, Wicked and Divine was the winner last night, and it's certainly a great book to check out. The other collectible headliner, actually there was 2 or 3. We'll come to one of them in a second. Witches, which is a book by Scott Snyder and Jock, and also coloured by Mark Hollingsworth. This is, along with Wicked and Divine, the book I've absolutely fallen in love with this year. It's absolutely stunning. It's scary as hell. Certainly don't read it late at night because, I mean, I'm pretty thick-skinned when it comes to this kind of stuff, and it freaked me the hell out. It's it's a book and a half. It's covering witches as physical entities, which really does kind of get under the skin.
Do you read that, Jesse? Do you read that book, Jesse?
No, but I've heard about it, and I really want to.
Yeah.
I really want to.
I picked up the first one and was looking at it, and I don't usually go for that kind of stuff, and I'm really regretting not buying the first issue of that book because so many people are saying so good things about it.
That's not the only reason as well. If you have picked up that book, it is now turning into one hell of a collector's item, especially if you manage to get it signed. It's selling for astronomical numbers.
I know.
That's also down to the variants as well. Thought Bubble also had a variant produced of the book, which is this. If I'm just holding that up, it's a. I mean, that just kind of sums up the tone of the book. It's a very on a white background, a very stark image of that. Just looks gruesome, doesn't it?
That's great.
That is
looks fantastic.
That's a Jeff Lemire variant cover, selling for £5 here at the convention. Last night, this, which is a unsigned version, is currently selling on eBay for £30, which is a nice little markup. I have slightly defaced it, however, because one of my favourite panels in issue 2, I've managed to get Jock to sign it.
Oh wow!
That's mine. That's my copy. However, I also have another copy for my own personal collection as well, which is the trifecta. I have got myself, if I can just hold that up to the camera, I've got Jock, I've got Scott Snyder, and I've got Jeff Lemire signed.
Nice.
Isn't that pretty? But that was the variant. That's the variant. And the great thing about Thought Bubble, well, Thought Bubble has had a couple of issues in previous years in just trying to find somewhere to put lines. It's the old convention issue. However, this year it's been dry. It's been slightly overcast, but not too cold, which is odd for November here in Yorkshire. And it's been pleasant, and it's just gone so smoothly. I really have hoped that we were going to get somebody from Thought Bubble to join us, but it's 6:15. At this point, they're tearing down tables. It closed at 5. We have literally just finished the con, so I've just find myself a corner of the convention to hold it. So yeah, a lot of people queuing for that. A lot of people queuing to see the other artists here that have joined us at Thought Bubble. One of the funnier queuing stories was Mondo, who is always popular at conventions. They produced themselves a Back to the Future special for the convention, and it's when this is not a convention where you queue overnight for stuff. Okay, it's not that kind of. It's a proper comics convention. You don't queue overnight for that kind of thing here in the UK. We just don't do that kind of thing. Well, you tell that to the 6 people that were queuing outside of the teepee out in the courtyard here in the Royal Armouries 24 hours before the doors opened. Lunatics. But, I mean, considering as well that apparently you could just rock up and get this Back to the Future. Oh, hang on, if I can just hold that up. That is a rather tasty Back to the Future. Isn't that cute?
That is
So
nice.
it's a really, really tight
Wow.
poster, isn't it? Now, yes, I'm going to announce. I was going to save this for Twitter. I was going to announce this. Do keep your eyes open on my social medias, on Google Plus and on Twitter this week, because this was given to me by the guys at Mondo, to give out to my viewers. And not. How am I not going to keep this myself? Look at the thing.
I've already made an offer.
Oh man! So do keep your eyes open on Englishman SDCC and Google.com/+symbol an Englishman in San Diego, because you could be the recipient of this very nice Mondo Mondo posters, exclusive, or the variant that they produced for Thought Bubble for Back to the Future. Very, very nice indeed. Why am I not keeping this? Can someone explain to me why I'm not? Dear God. By the way, the Q&A is open right now. If you do want to say hello to us, let us know where you're watching from. You can also tweet us. You can tweet me at Englishman SDCC, or you can use the hashtag #CupOfTeaSDCC. No, we are not taking offers during the course of this hangout. Okay.
Michael, I'm sure Michael Leventhal would be one of the moderators on the forum, would be making an offer right now if he thought he could.
You're not getting the Wiccan Divine. You're not getting the witches, and you're certainly not getting the poster if you talk to us now. Okay. Hold off. All right. So do keep your eyes on that. Okay. Just the other quick highlights of the convention, because there's been a number of great panels that have been held this weekend. Mostly the headliners when it comes to publishers has been Image Comics, because DC and Marvel haven't attended this con, and I spoke to a number of the artists here at the convention. They turned around and said, to be honest, they haven't been missed, purely because there is so many of the artists and creators here. So it's been very much the creator level of exhibitors. There hasn't even been that many people selling comic books as such. There's been a lot of independent people bringing their own books, and that's been fantastic to wander around the Royal Armouries and actually see new books which you possibly would have never even thought of picking up. It's just been amazing. I mean, I picked up let's have a look. The Red Mask from Mars. I've no idea. I don't know. What's this? The Descending Outlands. I quite liked the cover. I haven't a clue. I'm gonna look at it. I'm gonna check them out. I quite like it. It's The Pirate Princess. Princeless. I like that, and that's come from Action Lab, and that's a comic. That's a Thought Bubble exclusive. I'm going to check these out. It's just I've no idea what this is, but the cover also intrigued me. Space Captain. Look at the mustache on that guy.
That's fun.
Waking from a frozen slumber on a distant planet, Space Captain finds himself in quite alien surroundings, but a frosty welcome is only the beginning of his treacherous adventure home. Which way is Earth? I've no idea, but that's the great thing about Thought Bubble. You just find stuff, and you can find that at most cons, but because it is very much creator-led, there's more of it. There's just been so much here at Thought Bubble. It's just been an amazing event. The great thing that I've been hearing from the exhibitors as well is that they've been encouraged by the level of interaction that they've had with people who have walked through the door. Very enthusiastic here in Leeds for Thought Bubble, but which leads us on to something that we were talking about a couple of weeks ago, and something I do keep returning back to. I do keep returning back to this, and do jump in on the comments on this as well, because we would like to hear what you think about this. This is about the blog post that got talked about with an artist and an artist's wife turning around and saying that they struggled to financially justify going to cons anymore, purely because they felt that the people on the other side of the desk were either too busy kind of celebrating their own nerddom by kind of joining together and sort of like doing their own thing, or taking pictures of cosplayers, which distracted from talking to them on the other side of the desk. Now, I spoke to Becky Cloonan, and I brought this up with a number of artists here at Thought Bubble, and Becky Cloonan was certainly somebody who just turned around and said that this was absolutely not the case, certainly from her experience, and that she felt that at the end of the day, if you're not getting people to talk to you, you're either not very good or you're just not doing the cons right. That there's something that to be said about having people talk to you. Just to bring our guests into this, I think we've talked to you about this, about talking to artists before. And I know that, Alyssa, you do make the effort to speak to a number of artists. I mean, what kind of response do you usually get when you go up to a table to speak to somebody?
I always get a positive response, except for Sunday afternoon at 3 o'clock when people are just shattered, to use your words.
Oh, that's the other word you're looking for is knackered.
Yeah, well, it could be. There's a few American words that I could use too that perhaps are a little four-letter. Regardless, the thing that I take into this, or take from Becky's word, that was Becky, you said, right?
Yeah, Becky Cloonan.
Becky's words is it's glass half full or glass half empty, number one. But secondarily, there's the if you're an independent contractor, or if you are, if you are an artist, you've got to be a go-getter. You've got to figure out and develop new ways of presenting your work and getting people excited and interested to it. Because the things that worked last year are not going to work next year. It's just the nature of a consumer-based society. You've got comics that used to be really in vogue and favorable, and now they're not so much. And it's the reinvention, and it's the outreach, and it's the people behind it. So
Sure.
I think that taking some personal responsibility, as Becky is saying, is a positive way of looking at it.
Sure. I mean, one thing that I was interested as well, because obviously when you are making that financial effort to appear on the other side of a table at a convention, the idea is that you are wanting to either recoup that money or try and make some kind of financial reward. And I was really interested in talking to a number of people here that they found that while they did have comics to introduce to people, that a lot of money was being made by buttons and little cards, the A6 cards, or little sketches, or just little things that kind of added up and made financial sense. And that was the gateway into the comics, which I found was very interesting. Jesse, I mean, do you go to Artist Alley, and do you check out the people there?
Does Jesse go to Artist Alley?
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Well, this year at New York Comic Con was the first time I ever spent, a lengthy amount of time in Artist Alley, and the New York Comic Con Artist Alley surpasses Comic Con San Diego's by leaps and bounds. It's just amazing. So yeah, I spend, I would say, at least 50% of my convention at Artist Alley, getting signatures, talking to artists and stuff. I had a great time. It was a lot of fun.
You started the sentence with "I spent a lot of." You spend a lot of money there as well.
Did I spend a lot of what?
Money.
A lot of money? No. I spent $5, and that was for getting Chris Claremont's signature, and that was the only money I spent in Artist Alley.
Nice. And
did you buy any comics?
Went frugal.
And what did you end up with? What did you end up with eventually?
Oh, signatures? Chris Claremont, Adam Hughes, Amanda Connor, Dan Panosian, Jim Lee, Ivan Reese, Steve McNiven, and David Finch and Tony Daniel, and a few others.
There's a couple in there I'm aware of. There's one or two. So no, that's great. I mean, I was talking a lot to. Go on, what is that, Alyssa?
Jesse, did you buy any of the convention exclusives in Artist Alley?
No, I didn't. No,
Were you tempted?
I was tempted, but I knew I was the week I was taking off for the convention, I wasn't getting paid for at my work, so I had to be frugal with my money.
Okay.
So
I think it's also one of those things as well. I was very tempted as well this weekend that once you start, you just suddenly find yourself heading very quickly down a rabbit hole of spending a lot of money. But
true, but it goes back into how can artists make the convention pay off for them.
Sure.
And it's interesting because Jesse, that was his first kind of experience, in a large scale Artist Alley.
Yeah.
So he was tempted to spend the money, which is neat.
Oh yeah, I was.
I kind of struggled. Well, no, I mean this is my 8th year of attending conventions or Comic Cons in particular, and even now I still struggle with kind of walking up to an artist. I think the only reason why I had a little bit more chutzpah about it is because I had the website to talk about and to kind of introduce myself, as it were. But I think for anyone else, I think you can just kind of summon that a little bit of spirit and pluck and just go up and talk to these two artists, especially if they are people that you have read the work of and that you actually they will appreciate hearing your comments and talking to you. So yes, I would absolutely recommend. I think I'm going to spend a lot of time in Artist Alley this year. It's going to be impressive.
Worth it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
It kind of segues into one of the sites that I've been looking at a lot, because I'm more of a collector than a reader of comics, which is problematic in and of itself, regardless. But one of the sites that I look at a lot is investincomics.com. And what they do is they talk about changes in existing lines. Like, for example, they're talking about Wonder Woman this week and Spider-Woman, the new Spider-Woman comic that's coming out. They're also talking about the Image comic, a couple of Image comics that's coming out. One, Intersects, which looks really fabulous, that I'm really looking forward to reading. And what I found is that if I know about the comics that are coming out from Image, I can take that, and they suggested Spread Comics. I forget who does it, but I took that. I actually took their advice, bought the comic, went to Artist Alley, had read it, loved it, went to Artist Alley, and was able to talk to both the author and the writer and have an intelligent conversation with them about this new up-and-coming comic. I ended up getting it at CGC. They had an exclusive. And looking at the new books that are coming out from this site for me, has been opening up a new realm into the comic area and into Artist Alley. It's a way of getting in because you can look at the new stuff that you don't have to read a gazillion issues before you know the canon.
You've got somebody holding your hand.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
so
cool.
I'm gonna put the link up for this week's pick, this week's list, and you can sign up for their newsletter they send out.
So what's the homepage again for that?
It's Invest in Comics, INVESTCOMICS.com.
Fair enough.
And yeah, and they're friendly people too. So,
Always a bonus. Always a bonus.
Yeah. Cool. They talked about Wicked and Divine, and Grayson, and which are some of my more recent finds.
Brilliant. Excellent. Thank you very much indeed for that piece of. I'm going to check that out because this is I don't do collectors, and I feel in much the same way that I've avoided Funko, because I know that if I start. Because I know the whole idea is that you buy them, you invest in them, and then you resell them, and then you kind of snowball from there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to give these up. They're mine. They're my pretties.
Well, it's not so much about flipping, as it is about it's collecting, and it kind of more is, dare I say, hoarding.
Well, there's a whole. Yes,
pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, if I took a camera up into my attic, I think we could safely say which camp I fall into that one. So yeah, I'm not going to deny on that one. Okay.
Hey, one more question for Jesse. Have you been following Wonder Woman recently, Jesse, at all?
The comics? No, actually, I haven't. I've never read any of the new 52 Wonder Woman, to be honest with you.
Okay, because they've been talking a lot about that, and I was wondering just kind of some background on that, since I haven't been following it.
Okay. Just wondering if we've got any questions. Oh, we've got questions coming in, and I'm just hoping that we get one or two people talking about that. But yeah, jump in on that if you want to. By all means, we'd love to hear any comments, because this is a book. There's been a couple of the DC and Marvel stuff that has been talked about here at Thought Bubble. That's been one of them. You're absolutely right. It's been cool. Okay, let's very quickly run through, because I actually didn't have the Q&A up. I was looking at another page, so let's very quickly run through a couple of these. I know. We had a bunch of people joining us and clocking in and saying hello. John Brunton, thank you very much indeed for joining us. We've got Craig Linders, I believe is a new viewer to the show. Thank you very much indeed. 9 degrees Fahrenheit in Parker, South Dakota. High 13 degrees tomorrow. Talk about cold. Yes, I know that in the UK it's not the same thing. Trust me, this is mild for November. We're waiting for the penny to drop. We're waiting for, it's going to stay like this for a good couple of days, and then we're going to feel it. The Christmas... No, this is it. The Christmas adverts are now running. The Matrix automatically defaults the temperature and changes it all for us. The Matrix will reprogram itself shortly. So there we go. Janine Licaro... no, hello there, Janine. Messaging from Corona, California. 66 degrees, but very windy. You know what? I could live with that very, very happily. If anyone wants to give me a job in California, I'm your dude. I mean, there's people turn around and say, "Oh, no, it's always too hot," or we're always on fire. And listen. If it's a change between that and what we get in the UK, I'll go for California temperatures any day of the week.
One of the things that I was thinking to myself before when you were talking about the temperatures for your con was that it seemed like it was very similar to New York Con, New York's Comic-Con in October in New York City this past year, which was kind of cold.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I know, I mean, you went. Was it? I mean, what was? Because there was also, didn't it rain as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, it did rain. Was this Friday or Saturday? It rained pretty good. So just a cold drizzle all day long.
We are just so glad that this has just been, because it has rained for the last couple of years. Actually, one of the highlights of the con as well is the way that it's been set out. They have traditionally 2 rooms, which is the New Dock Hall, which is a function suite on the other side of the museum, and also inside the museum, the Royal Armouries Hall. but they have basically they ran out of space last year, and they decided to use a space which is part of the complex where the Royal Armouries runs, called the Allied London Hall, which at the end of the day was just a dormant space of rather industrial area with no power, no lighting, and no dust exclusion either. Last year, we had artists trying to draw as their hands were shaking. It was awful, absolutely awful. So this year, also Allied London apparently asked them for more money this year for this rather terrible space. They actually built what's called the teepee in the courtyard of the Royal Armouries space. At which point, everyone who was going to be exhibiting there thought, "What? We're going to be in a tent? What's this going to be? What the hell?" As it happens, it turned into a plastic-sided, very solid, very well lit, very warm space in the middle of the convention, in the middle of the courtyard. It was a great addition, and I'm going to be posting a lot of pictures up on my Google Plus and also on Twitter as well. So do keep your eyes open. I've had a great time. It's been fantastic. We've had ourselves a couple of people. Yeah, I told you once before, if you make an offer or if you ask about the Mondo poster, I'm crossing you off the list. It's not happening. Okay, so yeah, one or two people turning around saying that nice Mondo, and it is. It's why am I? No. If I think about it too much, I'm just gonna start crying.
I offered a Walking Dead Compendium 1 signed by Kirkman, Allard, and the other artist too, the first artist. So, and he didn't take it. So,
I think that says a lot, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
So there you go. Janine Nicaro's got a couple of comments in as well. Number one as well, the Mondo poster. Yes, you're right. Michael Leventhal has messaged in saying, "That's nice." Yeah, I can. Yeah, all right, okay. Janine has turned around and said, "Yes, I've been buying my Funkos to collect and not flip, especially my Zero, but occasionally buy some popular Funko Pop to use as trades." Interesting, because at least then you're not kind of purely doing it out of the financial drive for it. You're kind of, it's almost like in the UK we've got football cards. We have the football players, and you kind of you trade them amongst each other. So yeah, similar thing, I suppose. So yeah, thank you very much indeed for that, Janine. Let's see who else we've got. Jesse, you got Janine talking to yourself as well. I saw some of your pops in the background. I just got my Hot Topic exclusive Smaug and Chase Zero yesterday. Have you got that to hand?
Oh yeah.
Have you got that? Can you?
No, I don't. I don't know. I don't have those. I do. I have this one here that I don't have a place for it yet. If you can see that, it's the previews Mirrorverse Spock figure.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Oh, the Mirror Universe.
Yeah, and I need.
That's cool.
Yes, I need more shelf space. I don't have shelf space to put them on. So
when you start running out of
it's
shelf, when you start running out of shelf space for Funkos, you're an addict. That's it. You're there.
Pretty much, yes.
Wow. Wow.
Can I second that for the Lego carded Lego figures that you get from San Diego and from New York Comic Con? Those little ones, those two. It's brutal trying to collect the little figures. Just like Pops.
Yes. When you turn around and admit that something's brutal, you're admitting there's a problem, and admitting that there's a problem is always the first step. So. Okay,
my husband should not watch this one then.
Let's have a look. Travis McIntyre. I did actually send an invite out to Travis to join us on the Hangout today. Technical hiccup hasn't panned out, so hopefully we'll try and get Travis on a future Hangout. Thank you very much indeed for watching. Has turned around and said, "Can you get me the can you get me I'll PayPal you the money now for that first one you held up." And I'm guessing he's talking about the witches.
Yeah.
No, the thing is that I actually had a couple of people tweet me because I mentioned that the Witches were selling. Witches #1 is selling for ridiculous money, and it's also
sure.
like
Yeah.
well, as we say in the UK, rocking horse poo. It's just so difficult to get hold of. Yeah, absolutely. No, you can't deal with it. You can't have this, I'm afraid. My pretty.
I didn't. The only thing I can say is I didn't pick up the Witches one because I tend to not like the supernatural horror, and my inside,
You're gonna hate this.
yeah, it say because I go more for the science. You know, this comic that I'm looking forward to that that other one I mentioned up thread a while is much more science based, like 600 years in the future, time travel-y, that kind of thing. So that's why I was like going, okay, I'm going to only collect the things that I like, you know, I really that agree with me, which is, but occasionally you miss that. Sorry.
I mean, I absolutely was determined. I mean, I'm not a horror comic fan by any stretch of the imagination. I'm the same as yourself, Alyssa. I'm very much into my superheroes. I'm into stories which kind of like have that fantastic element. I want to be removed from the world when I read a comic. But I got this partially because I'd heard a lot about it and I was intrigued. I don't actually own the first issue of Witches. I read it as part of a press mail out, so I read it digitally. And when I heard that they were going to do a variant here at Thought, I had to pick one up because the artwork that Jock and Mark Hollingworth, absolutely incredible. I mean, let's just see if I can find a couple of panels. Which no, I can't. I can't show a couple of these because they're just really freaky.
That was the thing for me that really made me want to buy that comic. It's because I'm such a huge fan of Jock's artwork.
Oh, let me see if I can just click onto mine so it fixes it. That's not right. That's what the hell is that? That is one of the witches, or one of the interpretations of what a witch is in this book, which I've just held up. Which is, let me see if I can just find the page. So if anyone wants to refer to it, it's about 5 or 6 pages in on issue 2, and it's creepy as hell. I love it. No, it's just great because it's just fantastic story, incredibly well told. So no, absolutely. Right. Okay. Is there anything else we want to talk about? Because I do know that they want to set this room up for tomorrow, because this is a working exhibition space at the end of the day. So. Anything else that anyone wants to talk about?
Same time next week?
I think that sounds like a plan. Now, here's a question. This is complete ignorance from myself as a Brit. When is Thanksgiving?
Not next week.
Right. We are going to be having a cup of tea hangout next week.
Okay.
We are not going to be having one the week after. Because you've got Thanksgiving, for God's sake. You've got stuff to do. You've got family to ignore and beer to drink.
Sunday is also a travel day.
And travel day as well. You're absolutely right. This was always going to be a kind of short one because it is kind of the wrap-up of the badge sale, the final bits and pieces that we needed to cover with that. And also I wanted to talk about Thought Bubble, but at the end of the day I'm going to try and cover a little bit more of what I saw on the site, and also I want to just share some bits and pieces. But it was always going to be a kind of short one. So we're going to just say thank you very much indeed for joining us. Let's just see if we've got just 1 or 2 last comments that are coming in. It's all about collectors. It's all about collecting stuff and falling down that rabbit hole. Travis McIntyre turning around saying to Janine, I just bought me a new Funko for the Crow, which is new. I'm not a collector, but I've got a couple. That's it, man. You've fallen down the rabbit hole now. It's that simple as that. Okay. Travis McIntyre, regarding witches, I'll send you a nightlight so you can read it at night. And you see, that's looking out for me. I can live with that. Thank you. So okay, cool.
Hey, if I could ask Jesse one more question.
Go for it.
What comics have you been reading recently, Jesse?
Good question.
I am terribly behind on my comics, but I'll tell you the two I've been reading that I really like are Afterlife with Archie, which it sounds strange, but it's written so well. And then if you want to ever pick up, it's Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. It's the rebooting of Sabrina the Teenage Witch for more modern time.
I've heard good things
it's
about
really
that,
really good.
I've really heard good things about that.
Yes.
They had those two books up on the Investing Comics site, and I loved the Archie books when I was growing up. Way back when. So I'll pick them up next time and take a look at them at the store. Thank you.
Okay.
Excellent.
Yeah, they're definitely not your father's Archie comics. I'll just say that.
That's cool. That's good. That's really good to hear, because that's what I was afraid of.
Okay.
When I was hearing about them.
No,
Okay.
they're very adult. So.
Yeah.
Right. I'm from England. I have no idea what the hell you're talking about.
And there you go.
We don't do Archie in the UK. We don't know what. Yeah, but there we go. We had Dennis the Menace, but it was a totally different version to what you've got. So yeah. Anyway. Cool. Thank you very much indeed to everyone who's commented on the Q&A. Once again, do keep the conversation going on Cup OT SDCC. We're back again next week, and then we'll take a little bit of a break for Thanksgiving. So do join us. I am hoping to finalise, because we had a number of guests that were going to be joining us today who have unfortunately had some family commitments that were unable to make it. But I'm hoping, speaking of Funko, we're going to be having Funko joining us next week. So there we go. That could be interesting.
Cool.
That would be nice.
Nice.
I think it's going to be an interesting conversation. So do spread the word. I'm going to try and file. Do keep an eye on my Twitter, Englishman SDCC, because that will be officially announced if that is going ahead between Monday and Tuesday. So do keep your eyes open for that. Thank you very much indeed for taking part in the Q&A. Thank you very much indeed for tweeting us. And thank you very much indeed to our guests. Once again, Alyssa, where can people find you out there in the wider world?
At friendsofcci.com/forum.
Excellent. And where can people find you, Jesse?
They can find us at thenerdtruth.com, on Twitter at nerdtruth, and I personally tweet at the 7th candidate.
Brilliant. Thank you very much indeed to everybody. I will do what I can to answer any more questions over on Twitter once we've gone off air. But good grief, 50 minutes. We're done and done. Incredible. I think that's the shortest one we've done. Amazing. One thing I am going to be posting up once we have gone off air is I'm going to relink to the Kieran Gillen interview that we did here on the Hangout. I think Alyssa will back me up on this one. He was just such an absolute giggle.
Next. You wind him up and you just watch him go, and you're in stitches the entire time. He's amazing.
We love him. We love him. I am going to link to that on the comments section of the event here on Google+, but I'm also going to post it on my Twitter, Englishman SDCC. Thank you very much indeed for joining us from the Royal Armouries in Leeds. If this has turned out to be a super smooth connection and it's a nice clean picture, I'm going to break in next week. We'll do it from here. We'll see how that works. Actually, that's probably not going to happen. What is going to probably happen is I'm going to try and find a bit of space at MCM Expo, which is happening in Birmingham. If you are in Birmingham next week, I'm hopefully going to be there on both Saturday and Sunday. So do try and find me. Let me know, and you never know, we might even have you joining us on the Hangout. That would be cool.
Do you want to try and do it? Do you want to try and do it an hour earlier, so maybe we get a couple of more guests?
That would be cool.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Just a wild idea.
Yeah, okay. I'll come back to you on that one. We'll see how that one works. Because no, it may even be that we might just host this from Alyssa's computer. So no, we'll do that. You host the Hangout. You host the Hangout, and that way I can do what you did before, which is with the phone and the
exactly.
That could be interesting.
Okay, that would be wonderful.
We'll let you know. But then again, like I say, how are we going to get the Funko people involved as well? This is going to be an interesting week. I'm absolutely shattered. I'm going to go to bed, and I will leave you guys to enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Thank you very much indeed for watching A Cup of Tea with an Englishman in San Diego. Take care, everybody. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.